Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is 6:43 a.m. Tuesday, August 27th. Hope your week is off to a good start. We've been up for a while, about 3 hours. We got the NFL video up, we got the MLB video up, now we got the WNBA. Pretty big slate, 5-game slate. We've been getting these 5-day off, 6-day off, 5-day off game slates, right? It's pretty nice getting some breaks in some big slates. Now the NFL season's starting, so for me personally it works. But we're going to break down into the slate. Not a ton of things to kind of point out, I guess some, but for a 5-game slate, it's relatively easy on the news. So welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Sal Vetri. I do cover daily fantasy sports in the NFL, NBA, WNBA, like you're seeing right here, and the MLB streets. So we're going to get into this channel, or we're going to get into this video today. Before we do, if you can go in the description below, check out what's down there. I have a free strategy guide for the NBA and WNBA. It is comparable for one for the NFL. I have a daily fantasy course. I urge you to check that out. It's how to win more money. It's not no Ponzi scheme bullshit. It's actually how to do it. And a lot of it's emotional, a lot of it's putting the work in to make a data table, all that stuff I show you how to do. It's $50 off until this Friday when the NFL preseason ends. And then yes, my projections for the WNBA, if you're interested in that, are down below for these big slates. They are huge. I'm going to be playing primarily heavily in cash today, upwards of, I don't even know, a few $100s in cash because it's really, really good this slate. So with that all said, welcome. Hit the subscribe button if you get any value. We crushed through 6,600 within the next week. I'm hoping to hit 7,000 to start the NFL season. So if you would, hit that subscribe button. Take the second. Thank you. Let's get into the slate. In terms of injury news and notes, the one thing that's not on here that I will list is Taurasi came back in the last game, played limited minutes as they told us she would. It is 22 minutes in the last game. I have her for 25 today. That's going to impact a lot of players on that team. It's going to potentially start to hit into Bonner's overall production, although Bonner is listed as a point guard on Draftkings. She plays more so forward around Griner, so she shouldn't be too impacted. But overall, when you have Taurasi, one of the leading scorers in the league last year, coming back to normal and stable minutes, it will impact Brittany Griner's overall upside. It will impact Bonner, definitely Leilani Mitchell, who already saw her minutes come down to 28 in the last one. So keep an eye on Taurasi. If they say that she's going to be a full go, 22 minutes was a pretty good amount to be playing limited. I was expecting around 15. So if she felt good, I imagine they slowly keep ramping her up come playoffs. So the rest of the players, Rachel Bonham, who has been out, is listed as questionable today. She's been playing 12 minutes or so per game at the guard position for Connecticut. That'll open up some more minutes in the secondary unit. Asia Durr, she's listed out once again. She's been out for a while now, so these minutes at the point guard position that she was playing a lot of are just going to continue to kind of get filtered through to a Bria Hartley. You're going to still get Kia Nurse stable 32 around their minutes if the game stays close. You're going to get Maureen Johannes seeing more minutes. All these players will continue to pick up more and more minutes. Essen Carson is questionable, but I imagine that Essen Carson's doesn't play today, but keep an eye on it. If she does, it's just going to throw even more of a wrench into these guard minutes for Phoenix. I imagine Carson, though, right now with Taurasi back, is probably not going to see her minutes go up all that much, whether she comes back or not today. And Christy Tolliver, the news came out that they don't even know if she's going to be ready for the playoffs. So that doesn't mean she's going to be ready tonight. So she's going to be out once again for Washington. It's going to make Ariel Atkins just guard minutes go up, although her price is shot up. Not Natasha Cloud, based on her price point for the minutes that she should see of in a close scheme around 32 or more. She's probably a little bit too cheap. And then Walker Kimbrough, who's really cheap, but not a great point per minute producer. If the game stays close, should see somewhere in the low to mid 20s. So that's it in terms of news. Let's get into the target offense sheet today. Target offense sheet. None of these players are on back-to-back, so I didn't update just the back-to-back part. Don't worry about that. We'll just do this right now. And bam, easy update. We'll just put nothing in here, nothing in here. Cool. So target offense sheet in terms of targeting one game that stands out. I mean, the Chicago and Minnesota game stands out. Now, do I want players on those teams? The guards are attractive for the Chicago side of it, or you can get two pretty elite players in the guard position, Diamond DeShields and Courtney Vandersloot. Vandersloot has been dominating as of late. Both of them just stability in terms of minutes of 30 to 33. Every single time they go out there, they're fantastic cash plays every single time out. Now, in what should be the highest paced game on the slate, maybe one of the highest totals on the slate, seems pretty good, especially when Minnesota is just so dominant defending the bigs. It's going to have to kind of go through more of Vandersloot and DeShields, as it usually does. But I think Shanae Parker's going to have trouble today. Dolson's going to have trouble today against Collier, who just this rookie is fantastic. Probably should be the rookie of the year in Collier. And then after that, you're going to have Sylvia Fowles and just better defenders overall. Dantas is coming back with more minutes. So yeah, that would be the spot on Chicago I would target in that high pace environment. They're worse against the guards, Minnesota. Other games to target based on just pace, Las Vegas and Indy. Indy, I don't usually get to much players, but one I will point out is Tierra Macau. Another player who, if she was going to be getting big minutes every single game, like she has the last week or so, she'd be in the running for Rookie of the Year. They've been constantly giving Candice Dupree less minutes until the last game where they gave her 35 or 36, but constantly giving Natalie Okonwa less minutes. The season's coming to an end. The playoffs are coming. Why not see more of what your young rookie, who seems to be a star or potential star in Tierra Macau, can do? Tierra Macau has played 30-plus minutes in 2 of the last 3 games. She dropped a 50 burger on DraftKings the last time out. Look, here's the deal with Tierra Macau. If they decide to just give her a normal run, she'll play 20 to 22 minutes and won't be worth her price tag. If they decide to give her run that they've been giving her the last week or so, 28 to 30 plus minutes, she's going to be an absolute smash play in this matchup against Vegas in a big pace-up spot. Vegas not the greatest defending the big position either. So yeah, and it seems like a spot where you run Tierra Macau out there because you will have just tons of Wnba. You'll have Wilson. You'll have Cambage. So many big players and just bigs on the other team that you're going to have to imagine having McCown out there. So I like McCown today, but again, in cash, it is sort of a risk, but I think I still might get there. Just keep in mind, she could play 20, 22 minutes and not pay off that tag. But again, at the same time, even if she plays 20 or 22, you're not drawing dead. There's still an upside for her to get into the 20s at that price point. But if you're trying to get the 40, 50-point ceiling, she's going to have to play those 30 minutes that she's been seeing for about the last week. So, other spots to kind of just point out, I guess, you're going to get a battle of the bigs in Connecticut and Seattle. You're going to get Natasha Howard, who's just been playing huge minutes the last week or two. Pretty much the last 2 weeks, she's been playing like 35 minutes a game. She played 37 when they played Connecticut last week, or about 10 days ago. Connecticut, you're going to get Jonquil Jones going up against Natasha Howard. It's 2 of the best bigs in the entire league, 2 of probably like the best 5 or 6 players in the entire league going at it. That's just a nice spot overall for a game. They're 2 of the best defenders as well, these teams against the bigs. So I'm going to have interest in them because they're so good and they kind of neutralize their matchup. But they're going to just be wearing each other down to the point where why not just get to players from some of these other games at the forward spots or the guard spots for more expensive, and I feel like I will lean that way. LA versus Washington. LA, Nika got back to 30 minutes. Candace Parker's playing around 30 minutes. Cheney, once again, is just not in that rotation in like the 10 to 12 minute range for the forwards. On the Washington side, Elena Delle Donne is way too cheap. We'll get to her. Just dirt cheap for a player who's going to be going up against an LA team that's not the greatest on defense against the bigs. And even if they were, the matchup for Elena Delle Donne is always fantastic. She just neutralizes any matchup. And when she's in a favorable matchup, more so than a non-favorable, which I would consider this one neutral to favorable, it's just a smash play for her. She's 10,500, I believe. That's too cheap of a price point. Even if the game, all season long, we've seen, even if the game blows out and she only plays 24 minutes, she still drops 40 plus. Like, if she plays a full 32 minutes, the upside for her to score less than 40, or the chances of her to score less than 40, are probably not favorable because the offense just goes through her nonstop. And again, she's kind of matchup proof, and now you put her in a good matchup. So we'll talk about Phoenix and New York. New York is just dead last. This is a very interesting spot. New York is dead last against the guard position. Now you have Diana Taurasi back, who's going to play maybe 25 minutes today. It's going to cut into Alana Mitchell. I have no interest in Mitchell, but where do you go? Do you go to Diana Taurasi yet? If Diana Taurasi was going to play 30 minutes today, she's underpriced. If she plays 25, she's probably overpriced. So it's a tricky spot that I would rely mainly on GPPs for. Duana Bonner, though, her minutes should be stable, at least in the 30s, even if you get Taurasi playing 30 minutes. So I feel good about running Duana Bonner out there against New York, probably more so than Brittany Griner today. I have more interest in Elena Delle Donne. Brittany Griner going up against Tina Charles, not the greatest of matchups, and also on the other end of that, not the greatest of matchups for Charles going up against Brittany Griner, although she had success last time out, but I believe Griner was still out in that. I believe Griner was still out in that game. But just keep an eye on this stuff. I do think Bonner is still going to be valuable, at least for tonight in this matchup for sure against New York. But moving forward, it's going to be very interesting for DFS purposes if Taurasi starts to regain her 32 minutes a game or whatever she might be playing this year. Again, it's going to all depend on her feel of her back, and if it's really easy to re-injure an injury like that. But if she gets to 25 today, 27, then she's in 30 a week or two from now, it's really going to impact Duana Bonner's production and then Brittany Griner's. But for today, in this matchup, I do like Duana Bonner. So I kind of highlighted the slate in general. Let's go to the early interest. These are not my projections. My projections are linked down below. They're on the next tab over. I will not be showing those unless you are on Patreon. They're already up on Patreon. So these are just my early interest for today. Sort of like a makeshift player pool early on. I think Kennedy Burke at 4,400 is still providing good value, playing 20 plus minutes a game in a matchup that's going to be around neutral against Vegas today. You're not going to get huge upside here. Kennedy Burke, if she plays 23 minutes, like you're hoping for her to hit 15 as like a ceiling. But what it allows you to do, and she can hit more in those minutes, but what it allows you to do is fit 2 to 3 10K plus players in, or whoever you might want. I already talked about how I like Bonner, how I like Della Dene. Collier is just fantastic. Nafisha Collier is going out there and playing 35 minutes a game. Now she gets a favorable matchup against Chicago, who doesn't have a Lavender still done for the year. It's pretty much Shanae Parker and Dolson, and that's not that bad of a matchup for Collier, especially when you have fouls running alongside of you to kind of take some pressure off. Collier is a rookie of the year, in my opinion. She's playing 35 minutes. She's playing fantastic. This is a $10,000 player that you're getting at 9,400. Great play. Diamond the Shields or Courtney Vandersloot. I prefer the Shields. just for the price savings and a favorable matchup. Minnesota, we said they're very good against the forwards. Against the guards, they're not great. So I actually think the Shields at 9,300 is a very, very good play today in terms of value. The usage rate of 26% is fantastic against the second worst team against the guards in the league. And again, it's going to be the fastest paced spot, or at least I project it to be. Tierra Macau, probably more of a tournament play, but I think you can get to her in cash. 7,800 is just dirt cheap if she's going to play honestly 25 plus minutes today, which she's been playing that for the past week or so, playing bigger minutes. But if they push her back down to her 20 minutes a game, well, then she's not going to be getting there. But I think they like her now. They're wanting to see what this rookie does. They're finally unleashing her, you can say. Candice Dupree, outside of last game's minutes, have been going down. She hasn't been playing productively. Natalie Acoma's minutes have been stably going down for the last 2 weeks. And count at 7,800. If she plays 30 minutes, once again, she's just the best player on the slate. But we don't know if she's going to play that. At your own risk, you can go there. In tournaments, I think it's more than fine. In cash, just know it is a risk, because if she does play 20 minutes, 7,800, she can still pay it off, but nowhere near as much as some other players in that 8K range or around the 8K range. Natasha Cloud at 7,200. Look, there's other players in this range that I like. McCown, if you want to go there. There's other players at the guard position that I probably like a little bit more. Jordan Cannon, I think, has more upside. For $1,100 less, you can get the Jewel Lloyd, who I think has more upside if she still plays her 28 to 30 minutes like she was playing last week in those 2 games. But Cloud should play 32, 34 minutes if this one stays close. No Christy Tolliver still. It's pretty much Natasha Cloud, Ariel Atkins, and Walker Kimbrell for the forwards out, or for the guards out there. And Cloud's going to be the one who's probably the most ball dominant there. Not a good fantasy point per minute producer, not a good usage percentage for a point guard, but based on the price point, I think it's fine. Again, I'd rather go $1,100 less and probably get the Jewel Lloyd. That's all I'll really talk about right now. Brittany Griner is on here, but not a ton of interest, because I do like Della Dene better, Collier even better for the price point, or even getting up to Howard. Griner's probably in this weird spot where I'd rather get to Bonner. Bonner plays more so as a forward, but kind of this hybrid. So the matchup against the guards being dead last for New York isn't totally true for her. Like, she'll get some run as a guard, but not a lot. So really, she won't take advantage too much of that, which Diana Taurasi and Leilani Mitchell potentially can. So I'll be interested to see where I land in terms of my expensive options today. There's a good chance I go very balanced, which I rarely do. Natasha Howard clearly stands out every time. Going to play about 35 minutes. So does Della Dene. Della Dene is way cheaper, $900 cheaper, so I probably get there more. But in terms of getting to a second or third 5K figured player, I guess Bonner, but she's not a true guard, so I don't know where I get to with Taurasi coming back. I think that's going to start to impact Bonner, and I'd hate to play that in cash the day that it does. So this is where I'm at. If this video helped you at all, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at @SalVetryDFS. My projections are linked down below. Appreciate it. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments as well. So my name's Sal. You already know that. Peace out, gang.
Hey, hold up. 1 second. Check out this page. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button, all right? And if you're interested in Patreon, if you're not already a patron, you can hit that button on Patreon, become a patron, it will take you right there. You can also check me out on Twitter at SalVetryDFS. And hey, if you're interested, this next video that's about to pop up, why don't you check it out as well. See ya!